All right, let's jump right in. Because right now, on factory floors all over the globe, something pretty huge is underway. We're talking about a massive shift in how we do industrial maintenance. It's a revolution, really. We're moving from a world of just reacting to problems to actually predicting and preventing them. And the engine behind all this? You guessed it, artificial intelligence. So let me paint you a picture. Imagine it's, say, 10 a.m. on a Tuesday morning. Everything's running smoothly, and then bam, the whole production line just stops. Alarms are screaming, people are running around trying to figure out what's wrong, and of course, the one part you absolutely need isn't anywhere in the warehouse. To make it worse, your biggest client is calling asking where that massive order is. Sounds like a nightmare, right? Well, this high-stress, high-stakes scene, it happens way more than you'd think. And the cost of that nightmare? Well, a single, unplanned shutdown like that can run a company up to 50,000 euros per hour. It's just a staggering amount of money. But you know what? The real kicker isn't that the machine broke. The real problem is that nobody had a clue it was about to. And that right there, that's the heart of the issue we're talking about. For years, for decades really, the way we've handled maintenance has just been broken. It's a flawed system that has bled companies dry, costing them time, money, and their hard-earned reputation. It's just kept them stuck in this loop, this cycle of constantly reacting to disasters instead of getting ahead of them. So you have the old way, right? It's called preventive maintenance, and it basically runs on a calendar. Hey, it's been 6 months. Time to change that bearing. Doesn't matter if the bearing is perfectly fine. The calendar says so. And here's the reality of that approach. You're either literally throwing money away by replacing parts that are still good, or the machine fails anyway, and you can bet it's going to be at the absolute worst possible moment. It's a total lose-lose situation. But this is where the story gets really interesting. This is where everything starts to change, because now we have this incredible combination of smart sensors, the Internet of Things, and powerful artificial intelligence. And together, they're basically giving us a crystal ball. They let us see the future of our machines, and that's allowing us to build a whole new way of doing things, right from the ground up. And this new model has a name: predictive maintenance. The concept itself is actually pretty simple, but the impact is revolutionary. Look, instead of just reacting to a break or guessing based on a schedule, you use real data to predict exactly when a part is going to fail. This lets you step in at the perfect time. The whole game is about getting ahead of the failure before it happens. Okay, so how does this actually work? Well, you can think of it as a 3-step journey, basically turning a ton of noise into a very clear signal. First, you collect. You've got sensors all over the machines, constantly gathering real-time data. We're talking vibration, temperature, noise, you name it. Then, step 2, you analyze. This is where the AI comes in. The algorithms pour through all that data, hunting for those almost invisible patterns that scream, hey, something's about to go wrong. And finally, you get an alert. The system takes all that complicated analysis and spits out a simple, clear warning, something you can actually use, like, alert, this bearing is probably going to fail in the next 3 weeks. And this really shows you the before and after right here. On the one hand, you have a brand new, pristine motor just sitting there. But on the other, you see that same kind of motor out in the wild, rigged up with all these sensors and wires. It's essentially been given its own personal 24/7 health monitor. It's always on, always listening for the faintest whisper of trouble. And the results? Honestly, they're staggering. We're not talking about tiny, incremental improvements here. We've got data from major players like Gartner, McKinsey, and Siemens, and it's all pointing the same way. Companies that adopt this are seeing a huge reduction in unplanned downtime, like 15 to 25%. They're getting more out of their equipment, boosting productivity by 10 or 20%. And get this, they're cutting out almost a third of all that unnecessary scheduled maintenance. That's a huge win. And look, this isn't some far-off futuristic theory. It's happening right now. You've got General Motors using it to keep their robotic assembly lines from stopping. Deutsche Bahn, the German railway, is using it to predict failures in their railway switches, which means fewer train delays for everyone. Even companies like Gecko Robotics are using it with autonomous robots to inspect things way faster. From automotive to energy to transportation, the biggest names are already all in. and they're seeing massive results. Okay, but here's the thing. Predicting that something's gonna break, that's amazing. But it's really only half the battle. The next big evolution, the next level up, is moving from prediction to prescription. We're talking about an AI that doesn't just warn you about a problem, but actually tells you exactly how to fix it. This timeline really lays it all out perfectly. Think about it. We started with the most basic approach, corrective maintenance. Oh, it's broken? Okay, let's go fix it. Then we got a little smarter and moved to preventive, fixing things based on a schedule. The next leap was predictive, which is what we've been talking about, fixing something right before it has a chance to break. And that leads us to where we are now, the top of the pyramid, prescriptive. The system doesn't just give you a warning, it gives you the answer. So what's the real difference here? It's all about the questions it can answer. Predictive AI is great. It answers what will fail and when will it fail. But prescriptive AI, it's on another level. It answers those two questions plus two more crucial ones. Why is it going to fail? And so what should we do about it? That's the game changer. So in the real world, what does this look like? Well, imagine the system flags an issue. Say, a pump is showing signs of damage from cavitation. A predictive system would just say, the pump is failing. But a prescriptive system keeps digging. It traces the problem back to its root cause. Maybe a valve that's set incorrectly way upstream. Then it automatically generates a super detailed work order telling the team not just to look at the pump, but to go fix the real problem with that valve. You're not just treating the symptom anymore, you're curing the disease. The amount of time and money that saves is just incredible. Now, this brings up a really, really important point. Whenever we talk about powerful AI, people get worried about jobs. But this isn't about replacing people. In fact, it's the opposite. The best, most accurate systems are all built around this idea of human in the loop. The AI does the heavy lifting, the insane data analysis. But it's the human expert who provides the context, the judgment, and makes the final crucial call. It's a partnership. And that really leads us to what might be the most important part of this entire story, the people. Because this isn't just about technology, it's about how that tech is changing the very nature of work for the better. The role of the industrial professional is transforming right before our eyes. We're watching technicians become data analysts. Think about the before and after for the technician's role. In the past, the job was all about being reactive. Your main tools were a wrench and a diagnostic manual. Your focus was on the physical repair. But the future? The future is proactive. Your tools are data dashboards and IoT alerts. Your focus isn't just turning a wrench, it's interpreting what the data is telling you and making smart, strategic decisions. So yeah, this means there's a whole new set of skills that are becoming absolutely essential. It's not just about the mechanical stuff anymore, though that's still important. Now, you need to be able to look at data and understand what it means. You need to get how these IoT sensors work. You need critical thinking to decide if an AI's recommendation makes sense. And you even need to know the basics of cybersecurity. These are the skills of the future for this profession. And let me just be crystal clear on this, because it's the main takeaway. The goal here is not to replace technicians. It's not about automating jobs away. The goal is to transform them. It's about turning them into analysts, freeing them up from the boring, routine stuff, and letting them use their years of expertise on the big, strategic problems that really matter. So when you put it all together, what do you have? This AI maintenance revolution, it's so much more than just a fancy new tool. It's a fundamental shift. It's creating an industry that is smarter, way more efficient, and just more reliable. And it's doing it by taking the best of machine intelligence and blending it perfectly with that priceless, irreplaceable human expertise. Which leaves us with one final thought to chew on. The machines are definitely getting smarter. There's no question about that. The real question is, are we? Are we ready to adapt and learn and evolve right alongside them? Because that's where the real opportunity is.